Hi everyone, it's B, and today I'm going to be showing you how to paint anime or cartoon characters on denim. It's a very simple project, no drawing skills are needed. Things you will need are cardboard and newspaper, high quality acrylics. I recommend Atelier, but as you can see, I use some sneaky Montmartre, palette knives, brushes, a paint palette, printer paper, denim that you wish to paint, scissors, double-sided tape, a 2B or 6B pencil, a dead pen with no ink, and an iron. And the final thing you will need is some fabric medium. So this is something that's specifically made to mix with your acrylic paint, and then you can paint on your denim and you can bend your fabric a little bit. It'll make it waterproof. You heat set it before you do that, and that just helps keep it permanent. So the first step here is to wash and dry your denim. And then load your images into PowerPoint. Make sure that your slides are set to the A4 size and that your figures are as tall and as wide as you want them to be in real life. Then you're going to cut out your images from the paper that you printed them on. Make sure you reserve both the cutout and the remnant of what's around the image, as you will be using both of these at different stages of the process. The next step is to tape your outline closed and lay it where you want your finished painting to be. So you double-sided tape it to the denim. For particularly concave small bits of paper, make sure the double-sided tape covers the paper completely, and here you can also see me trimming the paper. The next step is to lay down your newspaper and cardboard, and make sure to put a layer of cardboard between your denim so the paint doesn't leak to the other side. Mix your fabric medium with your white acrylic. Though this particular brand says a 1-to-1 ratio, I found twice the amount of fabric medium to paint works best, as it helps flow through the texture of the denim. The next step is to paint the white silhouette of the image onto the denim. This should take about 2 coats, maybe 1 more if you're very particular, and just let this dry. Peel that cutout from the denim. You don't need to be very careful at this point, just make sure it's all off the denim. Here you can also see that there's some little bits of paper that's like been left behind. So what I do is I get a paintbrush with some water and I just scrape it off with the palette knife. You really don't want extra bits of paper on the denim, because if you paint over that and you wash it at some point, obviously the paper is going to flake off, and with it your beautiful artwork. The next step is to take your cutout and color the back of it generously with your 2B or 6B pencil. Just make sure it's super dark on that side. The next step is to get your paper cutout that you've colored, and then you place it onto your dried white paint and you trace all of the lines. So this will make sure that it comes through onto the white background that you've created. Make sure after the first few strokes you check that the pencil is coming through. Don't make this line too dark because that can go pretty badly, but just make sure you can see it. Then you're going to mix your black paint with the fabric medium and trace over the pencil lines you created. This can be a bit tricky, a little bit fiddly, especially when it comes to the eyes and hands, but just be patient. You can always go over mistakes at a later time, as acrylic is very opaque. So if you just make a mistake, wait for it to dry, put some white paint over it, and just start again. Step 9, which is optional, which is what I did with Goku, coloring your figure with that paint/medium mixture. After you have colored in the image, go over the lines again in black to define them once more. The next step is to heat set your fabric by using a pressing cloth and an iron. And the next step is to wait a week or so before washing your denim again. Just hand wash, some cold water, some detergent, and that should be it. Alright, and that is it. Here are my tips that I found very helpful when making this. So the first thing you want to do is select characters with very strong silhouettes. This means not every picture of your character is going to be correct for painting on denim. You want something where if you just see the outline or just the silhouette of the character, you know exactly what it is. My second tip is use a lot of fabric medium. Usually fabric medium is mixed in a 1-to-1 ratio of paint and fabric medium, but I found 2 parts of fabric medium to 1 part paint is really good. My next tip is clean up any sort of paint spill immediately. That means if you get any paint on your arm or maybe some is on the table, wipe that off, clean it off all your stuff, just because if it gets everywhere and it gets on your clothes that you don't want painted on, obviously it's not going to wash out because you've made fabric paint. Obviously it's going to paint the fabric. My next tip, which is more of a do as I say and not as I do kind of tip, is to make your character a lot bigger than what you would like. So painting the back of a denim jacket is a really good idea, or a very large area like that. When I did my paintings, they were quite small and like the face was like this, so you had to really go in there with like surgical precision to get those eyes to not look creepy and stuff like that. Overall reflections, I think it turned out really well. I always wanted to do it like the anime denim, but just the strong manga-like black and white cutouts. Yeah, Goku is also looking really good because the sort of rugged look of his character complements the ripped denim really well. So now you have an opportunity to have the Dragon Ball Z drip. You can find my Depop in the description where I'll be listing the items for sale. So make sure when you get the denim, hand wash it, don't machine wash it. If you can, try and spot clean it. You know, if you're into fashion, you know that denim should not be washed that much anyway. And if you want any more instructions or inspirations on painting on denim, I really recommend Kessler Ramirez's website, Instagram, because she paints on denim for a living and she makes some really high quality stuff, very inspirational. And yeah, that is it. Thank you for watching.